battle. We are in game 3 of the first match of the day in the quarterfinals, and the winner of this, the difference for the two teams is $1 million. That's not even what they win, but they are guaranteed a minimum of $1.2 million by making it into the top 6. This is probably the biggest draft of these two teams' lives. Guys, it's all yours.
Turn to ban.
Well, the first thing that we can say is that there's a quad ban from LGD, and that's very interesting because it's a hero that they gave to Empire twice in a row as a first pick, and now that they lost, they actually reconsider that. So,
well, I'm not surprised, though. What you've seen, I thought, in the first two matches, especially in match 1, is that Empire just had the vastly better laning configuration. And one thing about Empire, they can run Quap as can a lot of Western teams in all 3 core roles, so it just gives them a lot of flexibility.
definitely.
Gyro!
And no Tusk first pick. So, it really feels like they're adapting correctly, at least that's my understanding of it. We're going to see if Empire decides to grab it, but I'm pretty sure that both teams realize that it was not really a factor. And it shows a lot of Xiaowei. You know, he's reading it perfectly, at least in my understanding, and they're probably going to switch it around. There's also this, it's fair to say that Gyrocopter is a top hero for both teams. Like, both Fighter and Silent are insanely good with Gyrocopter, and I mean, Empire decided to give them Gyrocopter.
With Gyrocopter, you never have the issue of not having enough anti-push, which I think has been a crucial factor in Game 1 and Game 2.
For sure.
And I think probably the most underrated aspect of Xiaowei's drafting period is just he drafts lineups that are very easy to play. And especially in high-pressure matches like this, I think that can be really huge. I mean, Gyrocopter, it really does everything well in the game right now.
Yeah, it's very aggressive. It can be a very good late game if you keep on farming and stay ahead of the others. So, yeah, it's quite interesting.
Do you like the Dazzle?
Yeah, I think we've been talking about this yesterday during dinner, like Dazzle and Gyro together, how much it works. And like Empire, knowing that it's very successful this event, not going to let LGD get the combination of...
It's also that Dazzle's quite good versus Gyro as well.
Yeah, the armor. Or something like maybe Warcry as well, like very similar towards how you deal with the flat cannon.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a very good counter to flag cannon and physical damage from Gyrocopter. We'll see. Empire hesitates a bit more on the second pick, which is the first time there's been hesitations in the first 2 picks in that series at least. So they probably have something in mind.
I got to think they're thinking about their Tusk, because remember, Empire were, I think, the first team to make Tusk big. They were picking it for Aloha Dance way back and just killing people with it.
That's very true.
I mean, the issue right now at this junction for Empire, they have to go for something that's very utility-based and doesn't give away anything, very flexible.
So what's your list past Tusk? What do you think here?
Maybe a Clock. I'm not sure though, because there's no... Usually you go for maybe a Shadowfin, but there's no Shadowfin here. Or I think the Tusk seems like the most stable pick here, even though he hasn't seen much success the last game. But
they haven't got to pick to get Shaker at all, like in this series. Maybe they want to grab it earlier.
Yeah,
it's a hero that
LGD have been banning Shaker
every time. So maybe they feel like if they want to get it, it's now or never, and they went for the Tusk, which is understandable. Yeah. LGD must have expected this. You know, it's quite funny where you play versus a team, you beat a certain draft, and then they let it go and you grab it. Yeah, you beat them again with it.
LGD might go for the Earthshaker even here. Like they do run Earthshaker off lane for themselves, and Earthshaker plus Gyro, and in general it's just good versus the Tusk as well.
Oh wow.
Well, that was quick.
Insta-ban any teammate as well.
Yeah, good point. I'm actually really surprised that they went for their bounty here, just because they haven't really been doing well in games 1 and game 2 in the part of the game where bounty's effectiveness would be maximized. They really haven't been winning those mid-game skirmishes.
I mean, maybe it's to shore that weakness up, though.
Okay.
Because, you know, if they have to team fight all the time and Empire doesn't want to team fight, let's say they want to split up and farm, they really need to maximize every one of those skirmishes that they get.
I mean, how much do you think when you pick a bounty early like this, it's with an eye toward the mid matchup? Because bounty can really make that enemy mids. I mean, I guess it's less relevant now that your hyper bottle core and Shadowfiend is out.
Especially because all the strongest mid heroes at the moment, like Left Track, Quap, and SF Radiant, are banned.
Yeah.
So Bounty can actually be a factor, but I have to say, I didn't feel like Bounty was much of a factor last game.
Right.
And I think it's always scary to pick Bounty versus very strong laners, such as Dazzle and Tusk, but they went for it, so they probably have something in mind.
You know, this is going to be really interesting right now, because I feel like the mid meta right now is kind of where the off-lane meta is last year. The pool of mid heroes that we've seen played is relatively small, and there are a lot of them banned already.
I think we're going to see an Ember this game, either for either team, because a lot of Ember's natural laning opponents that pressure him a lot is out of the pool. And he could actually have a very good laning phase this game. Like, the hero is all about picking it when you can...
Yeah.
You can get away with the early game.
Yeah, that's very true.
No,
it opens up for many heroes, actually. You have a very good point, because all those pressure heroes such as Quap, Leshrac, even SF to a certain extent, they're out of the question right now.
No, that's a really good call because, there hasn't necessarily been this huge metagame surprise this year like there was with Razor and Skyroth last year. If there has been one, it's been the Chinese teams with Ember. They started like 8-0 with the hero in this tournament.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. They like to have like Ember plus Gyro. It's very good at defending high ground. And if you go into late game with that, you are very confident.
It's very interesting. Coming into that series, we said that both teams, the way they draft is very similar. And we're going to see other matchups today, and I don't think the draft is going to be that close. They're literally taking anti-mage or banning anti-mage so they can get them. Both of them very good call. The Ember is a very good call. Like, both of them wanted anti-mage. Now they're getting PL. They played PL game 1. It's very interesting how close the way they draft is.
Yeah, almost mirror images. That's right.
Yeah, it happens sometimes with certain teams.
Okay, so it'll be the melee call with Magnus once more for Empire.
Yeah.
But boy, the difference here is that they have the cores to deal with the PL.
Both teams have been going into like very heavy late game oriented lineups. So like everyone is just not going to go into the late game knowing that their late game is actually stronger than mine. You want to match their late game.
I feel like that's so risky by Empire though. LGD, the team that's played more long matches than any other team.
Yeah, and they have Bounty Hunter.
But it's also when you think about it, they played game 1 with an approach where they wanted to break their base like quite early, put a lot of pressure, and they lost. They couldn't do it, and now they're like, all right, this is what we want to play. We're going to play that game because we're ready for that. We practiced.
I think both teams' confidence were shattered by game 1 and 2. They both went in there with an early game strategy. They expected to win, and they couldn't close it out after actually attempting to kill the T3.
Yeah, definitely.
So LGD is going to reply by a Rubik, just a solid counter towards the Magnus, and their lineup requires like a good laning support. Rubik plus Gyro is just a nightmare for any offlaner to go there.
MMOI Rubik is just spectacular. I think he has already like 20, 21 wins with the hero this patch. That's more than any other player on any single hero.
Yeah, I really like the Rubik pickup. Also, it's a good setup for ganks, just early on. Rubik Gyro is also very strong. It's a very strong lane.
Yeah, Darkseid being taken out by Empire as well, not allowing the Iron Shell plus Ember. That is actually very scary to deal with early on.
Clockwork, though, really being ignored so far in these games.
It has.
Clockwork doesn't seem really good against Empire's lineup, though. They have Dazzle and thus multiple ways of dealing with the hookshot, so I'm not sure whether LG wants to go for that.
A lot of times we've seen Ember Spirit has been paired with like a Dazzle or another defensive hero. I think they could just like easily all in on him with Magnus and combo him with Tusk. So I'm a little bit worried for Ember.
I feel it's always so risky to, like, it's so hard to pick the mid laner right now because you're facing mid plus bounty. It's always quite hard to come up with a mid laner that can actually deal with that. And last game they went for Lycan mid, which was very, very smart because the Lycan can always farm jungle. He doesn't care so much about the bounty. Here, Lina, I think it's a bit more risky.
Oh, I don't know. I'm wondering, even with the pressure from the BH, can you keep this Ember Spirit even with the Lina mid? I think that's a hard lane.
Yeah, it's actually a strong lane, especially if Dazzle goes there.
Ember is very weak against this matchup. I feel they have to help him so much, somehow.
They're gonna be helping him for sure. Indeed, they have to. I'm pretty sure also we're gonna see rotations from the Tusk.
I think Spirit Breaker offlane to help him. I don't know, maybe.
And for once, it's a Tusk support, and it's not a Tusk offlane, so he's going to be looking to roam a lot. He's very good at roaming.
With the Spirit Breaker, can you go that hard into a single target disable against a PL?
Yeah, I mean they have Gyro and Ember though, so it's going to be the Clockwork
finally. Yeah.
They lacked initiation.
It's going to be really good at dealing with the Lina. So if the Clockwork has a good start, they have a very good answer for the Lina in general.
This is going to be an incredible game. Both teams' lineups are just so balanced at every phase of the game.
And 4 of the top 5 most picked in the game. So one way or the other. It's something we've probably seen before, but we're going to find out because we are ready for game time in game number 3. Your commentators are Cinderin and Toby1.
And let's get into it. So the deciding game, game number 3, LGD up against Team Empire. Will the favorites coming in be dropped down by the Russians? We're about to find out. Cinderin, I actually want to get your thoughts because I saw when the Clockwork picked up, the expression on your face. I would love to know what it was about.
I didn't feel that strongly about the clock, actually. I don't know what face I made. Now, what I'm more curious about here is Empire's logic behind the PL pick. I feel like the panel didn't touch much on it, but both of the carries on LGD are actually really good against PL. Gyro is very good at dealing with the illusions, Ember Spirit, I think the reason, first of all, as Winder pointed out, they probably just wanted the hero in general, but it is incredibly good against Phantom Lancer when you get the Battle Fury. Sleight of Fist just, you know, PL naturally just clumps up with his illusions when he goes in, and so he can end up like killing himself to one Sleight of Fist with Battle Fury and a crit. Like you can have 3,000 health on the PL. If Ember has roughly the same farm as you, you can be almost a non-factor in late game. So Empire, I think, are not interested in taking this super late, but at the same time, high grounding against LGD's team with a defensive play from Clockwork, Sleight of Fist, as well as Flat Cannon and Call Down is going to be very hard.
So how do they do it then? You just wait for them to come out?
That said, Empire should be winning the mid lane hard, I think. As they pointed out, this is not a good matchup for Ember. He's going to be playing against the Lina, and there's, of course, the threat constantly of the roaming in from Aloha Dance on the supporting Tusk, so I like that a lot for Empire. And I have a hard time calling a favorite just based on draft, but to me it's pretty clear that the lineups peak at different times and have like different strengths.
So we'll discover those as time goes on. As it looks like, again, we won't see any contest for the early runes. It'll be the Ember Spirit to get the one from bottom, and Resolution will take the one from top. But yeah, if you're an Empire fan, you should be really happy with the draft they've got. It's a lot of aggression, it's a lot of power coming out from their lineup, and their combo timings are wonderful. But at the same time, I've watched a lot of Ember Spirit games over the course of this TI, and it's been pretty brutal for the teams who have not been playing the Ember Spirit. If you can get that little bit of farm up, you're able to defend, you do a lot of damage, and heroes like Dazzle will not be able to respond in time before the Ember Spirit will find the kill.
And as was pointed out by, I think it was Nahaz, the Chinese teams of the tournament started out really strong with their Ember. I think it was at day 2, Chinese Ember Spirits were 8-0, and all other Ember Spirits were 0-7, I think, which was a pretty incredible stat. Like, it's very unusual that there's such a big difference between regions, but it seems like the Chinese teams have a better idea of how to utilize Ember in their strategies. So I guess LGD in that sense going to be happy with getting Ember for themselves in this game. Maybe they also just understand better when to pick it. It might not just be a playstyle, but that they understand the strength and the weaknesses of the hero just better than other teams.
I like the attempt there from Yoku. He realized the bounty hunter was going to get up in his face, and he tried to skewer him back. So level up skewer at level 1, so he's not finding farm with his shockwave. He was just trying to skewer the bounty back underneath the tier 1 tower, force the burning of either consumables or potentially even a kill. But it doesn't end up happening. He missed it just by a bit. But also at the same time, Team Empire, Yao is just going to be able to soak up experience into the side, got deep-watered as well. So LGD currently only have one Observer Ward down, and it's blocking the pull on the bottom. Doesn't see any of Team Empire's movements at all.
And the way LGD are laning this time around with an aggressive dual lane here with Rubik and Gyro, as well as the roaming bounty hunter, they were definitely looking to
light strike into the shards up maybe. He's a good turnaround for the series change. Yahweh's here, trying to beat into Resolution. He didn't see him. Another light strike erase back up cooldown, but the Sleight of Fist from maybe will find that kill. The TP in from the Dazzle was actually cancelled, and they let Aloha Dance die.
And he survives with 5 health. This is the worst thing that could happen to Empire in the early game. This is the lane they were supposed to win. They rotate in their Tusk, and they get an 0-2 out of it, which is going to secure Ember a pretty good grip on this middle lane, where if that goes the other way, he can barely walk into the lane. Now he has a fighting chance. That is absolutely huge. Wow.
LGD, they've been having a rough time at the start of the games for the first 2 games in this series, but this time, as you said, it's a wonderful way to begin. But they got to keep it up. Well, Xiaowei might have gotten rid of that sentry ward that was also in mid, allowing him to come back in again later on. You're still finding Yoki finding experience down on the bot lane. The PL silent 17 for 10 as this PL. But I suppose at the same time, we're going to be looking over to Sylar. He's got one of the most popular, if not the most successful cores in the game for this TI5. It's the Gyrocopter getting a good momentum at the start.
Yeah, I think out of the very picked carries,
they're diving in.
That's the highest win rate.
They're diving in. Just shards up and lock him in position. Actually, they're waiting a little bit for the cogs, and now the snowball picking up the PL on the way through, and this will be one very dead Clockwork. Nice chaining of combos there from Empire to ensure the longest duration of control on that clock.
Getting the kill on Silent isn't bad either. Is it worth about the same? Was he worth 4 or 5 creeps? 186? Not bad.
It's worth a decent amount. Middle lane, Resolution, missing the light strike array, and again LGD. They're looking for the kills, diving in deep under the tower. Maybe with that DD rune has enough damage to finish the job, and again, Another TP burned here by Always Wanna Fly. Unable to get there in time for the Shallow Grave. Also had no mana once he arrived, hence he cancelled it this time. He didn't have the Shallow Grave last time he attempted the TP.
I'm actually surprised maybe caught up to that attack. He has 310 move speed, and the Lina at the point in time, because of Fiery Soul, had 324. And it seemed like he was outranging him, but I guess just the movement pattern allowed maybe to just reach that last attack with a double damage. And another kill on him. He's 3-0 on a mid-Ember. This is pretty much unheard of that a mid-Ember gets off to this good of a start.
Yeah. It just wasn't meant to happen. LGD were meant to give him support. That's what the guys on the panel were saying. Like, you've got to come in and give him help. But right now, Xiao Wei's been doing a little bit of work, but not a hell of a lot. Maybe he's been lifting himself at this point.
He's still getting outfarmed a slight bit by Resolution just on raw CS, but of course he will have the clear net worth advantage from the 3 kills.
It's 2.6k, the 1 point.
Aloha Dance is very dead.
Yeah. Xiao Wei was stalking him, and MMY just comes in
And
and gives a bit
Yoku
of a
could be in
hand.
trouble as well. He's going to salve here. He has Skewer. Salar's going to force him to use it here. He brings him with him.
Dragging back to the tower, but the creep wave's still there. So Salar's not taking any damage from this. Actually turns on Flat Cannon, so we can reach Yoki without having to chase him to the other side of the tower. And now Xiao Wei's also making his way down here. Yoku has no escape.
They're just going to dive him.
They rocket down to have a look at him. He's making a play for the TP scroll. There's no,
He doesn't
actually,
have mana, he's totally dead.
yeah, in fact, he buys the TP scroll before he even reaches the side shot. And there's Shuriken toss available as well, so he's making him waste as much time as possible. And there's the death of Yoku. Are they going to give it to Sylar? Yeah, no. The Rubik will be greedy. He'll take it for the boots.
This early game from LGD is working incredibly well. It's very worrying for Empire because I think come the mid game, if both Emperor and Gyro are having a good game, I just don't see PL out carrying them. Then they're going to have to rely on big RPs from Yoku. Judging from last game, he doesn't use it very much. And in this game, without a Blink Dagger, it's just not happening. And even with one, you're still playing against the Clockwork, which I think was the main part of the counterpick for LGD, was just to secure that it's going to be difficult for Magnus to get an RP. Clock is one of the classic counterpicks. You see him with a rocket, you hookshot in, Magnus has to expend the skewer just to get out, and then he still can't get in position for an RP ever, because he just skewers you with him, and you just keep running next to him. You trade those heroes out of the fight 1-for-1, good enough for you, there's no RP.
LGD's bringing a bulk of their force down a bot lane, and there will be Emma maybe walking underneath the Radiant Observer Ward. They won't, however, see the smoked up Xiao Wei or the Rubik of MMY. While up on top, Yao actually dropping low. Yoku moved up here, looking for some level of initiation on Yao. But he's back too deep behind the tower, so Salar just creep skips it, so now they can jump in. But, yep, Ember Spirit, they're going on Resolution, and he actually manages to dodge again the Sleight of Fist. No support can arrive in time, and now it's Yoku. Not in the greatest position of his life either. And MMY is able to TP away with 45 life. So no revenge killings. It's 6-1 to LGD. They have an advantage of 3,000 net worth and 1,000 in the experience. To be honest, I was expecting it to be higher than that. This game really feels like it's a lot more out of control for Team Empire.
Well, they still have decent CS on the PL, so that one against Gyro is an even trade-off.
Lower, called down, has to snowball, and then runs himself out of it, shards up, and with the Light Strike Array, they get a shorter kill on Sylar. You lose your Tuskar for it, but you finally get some level of comeback in for Resolution.
Oh, he's clipping Xiao Wei with that one. He's going to send him back to base. Yeah, this is a good trade for Empire for sure. They need to slow down the Gyro, because every time they kill Gyro or Ember, the one who benefits the most is PL. He needs to have even footing or be ahead to stand a fighting chance against these two carries.
Looks like Sylar's going to TP himself up to the top lane. At the same time, Aloha Dance has arrived, so the land spam starts up here from Sylar, just wanting to chip away at Sylar. They also leave a fresh ward on that top lane. Well, they're expecting a loop around from LGD, but the top tower will get denied by LGD.
That's still good for Empire. Even with it denied, this gives them access into the jungle. It allows Tusk to move a little bit more freely, maybe together with the Lina. I think we can expect to see a couple of smoke ganks out of them, because Dazzle is really not a good ganking partner for support Tusk.
And Dazzle's rumors have been totally watched. This LGD high ward, they put it on the cliff side in between the trees. It's perfectly watching Empire's movement in the mid lane. And because of this, they can't really surprise the Ember Spirit. And maybe he's still walking around with a DD rune. So if he knows there's only just one hero sitting there, he can just initiate in with Spirits to double damage and Searing Chain find a kill and walk away.
He can kill Lina without taking damage pretty easily. So Resolution needs backup, which is a problem, right? They picked this as a good lane matchup, and already 9 minutes in, their mid hero can't be alone against the Ember, unless she plays very defensively.
Should also flag the fact Silent walking around with this Ring of Basilius as well as Ring of Regen. Is this the time where you just want to go directly into Vlad's?
It definitely looks like, there we go.
Yeah, it's actually a full Vladimir's for the PL.
It's good for the farming speed, and for, of course, pushing out lanes. Gives you a bit of tankiness as well with the armor and the lifesteal. Makes it very easy for you to sustain in jungle. PL is a special carry, though, in the sense that he can
Resolution.
actually... Oh, boy.
Then they'll pick him up, they'll follow up with Yao. Actually gonna hook shot at point blank range. They do find the kill over on Resolution. But Silent's still forcing out the tier 1 tower in the bot lane. And it's just almost getting to a point where you're killing Resolution so much that you're not even sending him backwards. He's just at a standstill.
That's still pretty good.
I'm not saying it's bad, but you've still got like your PL farming up. It's creating space. Like Yao, he's moving over for Silent, who actually knows he can take a fair amount off Yao. But Xiao Wei down here as well, going for a low hard dance. He needs to snowball quickly. Couldn't get it off in time. Yao put the perfect cock position out. And they'll track up over on Silent, so LGD moving as 4 heroes while it's actually Yoku, the man they're creating space for, but they go deeper. Silent doppelgangering away. They're going to find him before the TP, and they do. They stop his TP out. Silent, a little bit of damage into Yao, but the double damage on maybe and the support from the rest of LGD. All 5 players ensure the kill on the PL.
And this was set up really well by Xiao Wei. He tracks him knowing that it can be doppelgangered off, but then it's on cooldown. And I just had the feeling there, Silent's going to use doppelganger to remove the track. He's going to be in behind the trees, and they're just going to dive him because they see it's being used. That's all they need to know. In that situation, you just realize you're outnumbered. You run away with track on you. You can maybe doppelganger to the left and just get out and lose your tower. Like, there is no way you hold that.
And Team Empire, this is not the start they were looking for. After the first 2 games were so close, LGD really stretching a big lead above Team Empire. And there's no real saving grace. Like, if you look for that Blink Dagger over on the Magnus, then maybe that's one where Tusk got to initiate. But Tusker, 11 minutes in, is still level 4.5. He's not finding anything, but LGD, they're looking fantastic. You got maybe level 9. Got really good farm over on him. You got a Gyrocopter, finish up drums and phase boots. Almost level 9 himself. And the Clockwork, level 7, already involved in successful ganks around the map. Exactly what you want from a Clockwork.
The support levels are just making a really big difference. Xiao Wei being level 6 and MMY as well against level 4 and 5 on the Radiant side gives them way more teamfight potential. And
they got another one. It's always want to fly. Track him up, pick him up, throw him down, and then, well, he will keep himself alive a little bit longer with a Shallow Grave. Resolution's coming in too. That lands over on Yao. The Light Strike Array, they can ensure the kill over on Yao. So it does become a trade-off, but this is still a bounty kill for LGD.
Empire still got more.
They're going for
gold out of
Silent. Spirit jump in. They got the Searing Chains, but Doppelganger, what an amazing ability.
And I want to point out how this is like the polar opposite of the Bounty Hunter in Game 1. Like, Xiao Wei has been in 10 kills in 12 minutes. At this point in the last game, Aloha Dance has been in 0. But it's also just a different kind of game and a different draft. And they're
Resolution, instantly scouted. They need to skewer into RP or something. Right now, nothing's coming. The snowball protect Resolution. Slider fits. He didn't get the Searing Chain, so another Spirit has to be committed. And they still finally get that kill. A hefty commitment. They're chasing after MMY with the Lancers up, but a call down from Sylar. The RP will lock him in position. One charge for Sylar, being ripped apart again. Maybe they can keep him alive with a doppelganger away, but he's locked inside the tree line. 3 heroes down. LGD ripping apart Empire. Not to mention MMY got away with RP. So he'll have that for the next fight. Well, maybe Searing Chain or low hard dance. The snowball's there. He can walk back to his tier 2 tower. Again, these one charges helping out a little bit, but not enough. LGD, a 4-0 trade. And the snowball is real for China.
This is an absolute early game beatdown. Like, they have more than a kill per minute right now. And that's with a Bounty Hunter team. If you start snowballing with a Bounty Hunter around minute 10, I mean, I don't know. It's difficult to put a win rate on that, right? Well, like, when are you snowballing and when are you like crushing your opponent? But this has got to be like 90-95%. When you have this kind of a start with a bounty, you have this composition with it. All of their heroes are really good at following through on the track. Gyro can easily catch up with Drum's phase. The Ember is naturally just very mobile. They have hookshot and clock. They basically just need to keep fighting. Just run into Empire with the Flame Guard on and take fights. Because until Resolution has the Euls, they can't remove Flame Guard. That's one of the big benefits of Euls in this game, and why it's great for them that they've shut him down. so that Flame Guard stays up. It can be
MY.
purged.
They're going to get that pickup and always want to fly. The track was giving him the movement speed, LGD. Just to chase down the Dazzle. He Sentry Warded and saw the Observer Ward.
700 gold for killing and no net worth Dazzle. 4-man track gold.
Now this is the dream scenario for LGD right now. Look at even the Sentry Wars, that committal from Empire to try and get rid of LGD's movement. But they don't even find the Observer Ward. One in lane, one up on the hill. None of the Sentry Wards from Empire, apart from that one, which if they go out to deep ward it, they're going to lose it. In fact, Xiaowei's already taking out some of the sentries of Empire. And they're just going to keep pushing. Take the tier 1 tower. It looks like Empire's just dodging. They're backing up. Maybe they can find enough space to get like level 6 on the Tusker to get Yoku that Blink Dagger.
They're weaker in fights no matter what, and they're fighting into tracks, so if they get like an even trade, which is very unlikely, they're still going to lose gold on it, even though LGD are ahead by 13 kills. And in addition to that, like their chance of getting an even fight, I feel like is extremely little until they get a blink on Magnus. There's like, how are they going to initiate? They can snowball in, which is going to be incredibly obvious, and LGD have great counterplays with Rubik Lift, with Cogs. They could just jump away with their Ember.
Or as we saw before, you just trigger the call down and turn on flat cannon. And
exactly.
Like if the heroes don't have like 15 wand charges, which is the only thing that kept Silent alive when he hit that when he got hit by that first rocket, he just dies so quickly.
Empire are just in a really awkward position right now, where the early game went so poorly for them compared to what they were expecting, that even with a very farmed PL, he's still going to be weak. Like even if he gets to free farm the next 10 minutes, he's still going to be weak, because Ember and Gyro will probably be ahead of him. And he won't be able to engage ever. Like, he can't play aggressively. He's just going to be turned on very easily. So they have to set him up with an RP that buys enough time. Or maybe if the Lina can catch Emperor off guard with the Yules, perhaps they can get the kill. But it is very difficult to see some positives right here for Empire. Even with good farm on the PL, it's just not.
You just got to think happy thoughts at this point if you're an Empire fan, or sad thoughts for Empire if you're an LGD fan. As LGD rotating around, they lost a little bit of their vision, but Zhao waits on the front lines, and Yao, he's ready to hook shot in, he just finds resolution. The perfect Cox turns on the blade mail, and Lina can't hit back. You can Yule Scepter yourself in a moment, maybe buy a little bit of extra time. Actually, Yule's is maybe so he can run away. The shards, the shockwave, the spirit from maybe, he doesn't want to commit to this. That'll be way too deep for him. So resolution kept alive by his team.
Very disciplined play from maybe there. I think he might actually have been able to get away with getting that kill and jumping out with the Remnant, but the risk-reward ratio there, he knows he has a 5-kill streak, he knows how far ahead they are. They don't need that kill, they just need to pressure. And without getting that kill, they got the top tier 1. Because of how much rotation and defensive play they forced from Empire, they have no response to this top tower. And at the same time, while Silent is trying to trade bottom, they just port down maybe, and he's taking care of business here.
Yep. And he'll jump straight back up to the top. He left one of the illusions up there, so if LGD want to jump in back to that spirit, they can just keep pushing into the tier 2 tower after he deals with the push on bottom. And it doesn't even matter if he drops low as well, because he'll just spirit himself out. In fact, his Sleight of Fist dodges the Landstone in by Silent. Searing chains him up, and still has a regeneration rune. So there he goes, back up to top lane. Triggers the regen and ready to fight again. At the same time, hook shot finds a low hard dance. Tusker, Cog push back into the Tuskies. They can throw him almost back into the Cogs, but instead they throw him into the open arms of Sylar. Not only finding the kill there, but also stealing level 3 shards now for MMY. More control factors given to LGD if it wasn't hard enough for Empire already.
And Yoku now 350 gold away from his Blink Dagger, which I want to say at this point is their only out. I cannot imagine Empire winning this game without a massive RP or maybe 2 in a row. So Yoku has to come up big here.
LGD is so far ahead, you could almost go for the old skill build on the Ember Spirit and get that early Desolator and go into a BKB. You may not even need the Battle Fury at this point of the game.
It's just a way better, not just a better safety build, but it actually deals more damage than the Deso to PL. And they have to know at this point that, judging from how Empire has played, PL is the only hero on their side that's farmed.
Yeah.
So he just needs to itemize against the PL, and then even if the fights go poorly, they still have him countered out later.
It's just the fact that maybe he hasn't spent any of his money. He's got 3,300 gold. It would have been very easy to pick up a Perseverance or some level of damage. That's the only reason why I'm buying out different items. And
no,
TP scroll. It's just very uncharacteristic to hold him to 3,400 gold as an Ember Spirit.
It definitely is.
PL trying to actually battle against Maybe. He's on his way to the Diffuser Blade, double Blade of Alacrity now purchased, so he just needs the recipe.
Yeah, he's almost there.
And that kind of mana burn will help out LGD, and there's that Empire, sorry, and there's that Blink Dagger up. They're gonna lose always want to fly. He'll Shallow Grave, potentially could TP Yao, but with Yao right next to him, he knows that, you know, with the battery stock, there's no way he's surviving that. And Ember Spirit kills, secures it, and it will be the Battle Fury. Buys almost the entire thing, plus the Quelling Blade.
Yeah, and now, at the same time, PL is about to get the Diffusal, Sylar gets a BKB, so even with Flat Cannon down, he's not gonna get mana burn by those Earlers if he has BKB running.
It's the earlier chip that he's got to worry about.
And Lina's got quite a bit to go. This is something we didn't talk about, but Lina is, in my opinion, one of the absolute best counter picks to Ember. So, first of all, you can use off Flame Guard in the early game, which is Ember's strength in the early game lies in Flame Guard. And then Ember's strength in the mid game lies in his elusiveness and how he's hard to focus down. Laguna Blade, just with X Scepter, blows him up. He has very low base health. He kind of has to go for Glass Cannon builds, else he's not effective. So should that one come up for resolution, that could be a big play for them if they can catch him once or twice with the Laguna Blade when he's, you know, if he's on 2/3 health, he dies from full health. Even with Flame Guard on, doesn't matter when it's pure damage. So there is hope here for Empire in that.
And they're slowly getting it back. Like, you start taking Ancients, gotta remember that farming rate too when you got level 2 Empower now from Yoku, where you can just keep buffing up Silent during the fights.
Yeah, this time he's going for the 4-3-2-1 build, it looks like, at level 10 on the mag. So.
But that Battle Fury arrives 20 minutes in for Maybe. Nice and early for the Ember Spirit, but he's 6-0-5. You'd expect it around this point for him. While Sylar's already on his way to his damage-dealing item. And they are giving space to resolution. This really doesn't feel like...
He just revealed himself.
Double gang up. Got to block him with the illusions. Hook shot actually goes over to Yoku, completely bypassing Sylar, but actually isolates Yao. He'll turn on the Blade Mail and move himself away. Another doppelganger to avoid the Shuriken toss, but always want to fly. Picked up, throw it down, and the side of fist to ensure the kill just as the Shallow Grave wears off.
Yeah, that is not the hook shot he was looking for, but
it works.
They still get a kill. You know, if this game was even, he would have just died there. Like, that hook would have put him in a horrible position and Empire could respond, but LGD have enough advantage.
This still really is a little scary for LGD. Because that Blink RP is still there. Their positioning has been flawless throughout
the they also have a Blink RP.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Way on the guy on the Rubik if you can grab it.
Yeah.
Careful, careful. Well, he had Drum Charge while the Creep Wave's a little bit further back. Is he just burning it? He's got another 3. Oh, Ilsa Buckler. Alright, so they just beat into the tier 2 tower. Maybe. Next Sleight of Fist, and so difficult for Empire to try and lock down that Ember when he's in such a position.
Empire are playing it the right way, though. Like, they have to just try to hold with 4, spam out the wave with Ice Shards and
Silence farming in the meantime.
Dragon Slave, and have Silence Blade push, because he can't be a part of fights right now. Like, it's great to have the Diffusal, which, you know, if they're forced into fighting, it's probably the best item for the price he can have right now. But they really don't want to fight. They want to just delay, have Silence Blade push and farm, and hope that LGD spend enough time focusing that mid lane that even with their farm cores, PL can still stand a fighting chance because of Empower.
Sylar makes the right choice to TP off that top lane as the rest of LGD were moving up there to stop him.
Yeah, now he can try to focus down mid tower if he realizes it. They do have a good ward here. That's going to see the rotation of Maybe, as well as MMY, so now it's going to be very obvious, and Sound will back out.
Still watching Resolution farming so much, because they gave him space on the bot lane.
Yep.
And actually looks like a group up. They smoke underneath the Radiant Sentry Ward. There's no Dire Observer Ward to see this. And the Rocket flies down to see Silent.
This is an unexpected play, I think, for LGD. They will not think this smoke is coming. Now, the question is if they find the pick they're looking for.
We're going to find out. Maybe he's on the front lines, but need to almost be a blink instant RP. But you got a Clockwork with a hook shot right behind him, and actually, though, that's the side of fist. He was in range, broke the smoke on Team Empire.
Yeah, they gamble for the dust, hoping that Bounty's there. He is very far away.
He's also very tanky, walking around with the urn as well as the full mech. And they're actually looking towards Roshan now, LGD. They got some decent damage here, and with the helm of the Dominator on the Gyrocopter, they can just use him to tank up if required. And Empire are in no position to fight this, and they don't want to. Like, you've still got Resolution 400 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter, so then we buff up the Laguna Blade. And that's one way to get through the Ember. The Magnus is still okay. Like, he's getting closer and closer towards a level 2 RP. The PL continues to farm up as well. In fact, where does Silent even go here?
It's also a way to get through the gyro, the X Lena. I think it's a counter to both of them, and they just need to identify the right target in the situation. Silent, I'm not sure if Manta is the choice. I'm generally a really big fan of Diffusal into Manta. I feel like it's the best build in most cases, and a lot of the time I'm disappointed when I see PLs go Diffusal into Scotty. Not because Scotty's bad, it's a great item, but the split push potential, the way how fast you can max out your illusions with Manta is really strong in fights. But in this game, he might just flat out have to go for a Scotty to just tank up so he doesn't die. Like, there's, as mentioned a couple of times now, both between Ember and Gyro, his Manta illusions are going to die like instantly in fights. So it's going to be a pretty weak item for fighting. And then he's going all in on the split push with, you know, Ember can easily deal with it. Just drop a Remnant where they want to push. He goes back, clears out the illusions, and comes back to the fight. And then Silent has effectively done very little.
The irony of always on a fly buying Observers and Sentry at the exact same time as MMY is able to get that gem out. It's actually onto Xiao 8, who'll be walking around with that gem. The Vision, though, he can't see the Observer Ward on the hillside of the top river. And the only other Radiant Observer Ward that's down is a very defensive one inside the Radiant jungle. Other than that, Team Empire aren't really looking anywhere else on the map until now, when they put Observer and Sentry on the bottom river. But this was scouted out by the Dire Observer Ward, so they know where Empire has vision, at least for that point. And they're going to force the top lane now into the tier 2 tower.
Yep, they have, what's that? They have 3.5 minutes on the Aegis. So plenty of time to take this tower, maybe the mid-tier 2 as well, as Silent is trying to get a trade here.
But he didn't leave any of his real self, so it's just the creep wave that's here. But the creep wave will take care of it.
Yeah. It's gonna get it. This TP's too late.
Yep. So tower for a tower, tier 1 for tier 2. Only 2 of them left for Team Empire, however.
In the current game situation, they should be happy with it. Just trading evenly right now. You could say tier 2 is worth a bit more, but in terms of its strategic relevance on the map, I think the Dire mid-tier 1 is more important than their Radiant top tier 2. So I would say that slightly favors Empire. Also considering that Silent was able to farm in the meantime. You see the graph going up a little bit.
Just a little. Maybe.
And they're actually doing a good job. Like, considering how abysmal the early game went for them, they're still holding on in a game that I think most other teams would have just been like rolled over at this point. So they're keeping their composure, but they have not played the hard part of the game yet.
No, they have not. But at the same time, you can just look back to game number 1. Remember what we saw coming out from Silent with his PL.
Yeah.
The same is always possible. If there's a slither of hope, you give it a crack. Yeah, it's a different game, but
so this time around, in that game, the PL was very poorly countered by the enemy team, or at least not this well countered. LGD have the tools, but it is true. If PL takes off, there is a good chance.
2 minutes left now on the Aegis the Immortal. So keep your eyes peeled when that timer hits 29. There's no more immortality for that Ember Spirit. But he's already getting bigger and bigger. Having the Chrysalis and walking around with a double damage rune, it's nice for him. But the top tower again is being pressured. This tier 2 tower has dropped low. Team Empire were just continuously pushing it out. And they're actually in a position now where Empire buybacks on almost every single one of the heroes. It's just the Magnus as well as the Dazzle that don't. So if LGD do try and force the issue, they still shouldn't be able to claim a Rax against Team Empire.
This is the time that maybe can consider going for Boots of Travel instead of finishing his Daedalus, just to, you know, maximize his farm, be way more mobile, deal with the PL that way as well. They would put a lot more pressure on the map if he goes for that build right now than the Daedalus. But if they're looking to end the game and just siege high ground early, the Daedalus is easily the better choice. So I'm not sure if the game plan here is that they feel like, okay, in about 5 minutes, we're actually so strong that we're just going to take the fight to them without the Aegis. If that's the case, Daedalus is good here. Else, could easily see a Boots of Travel come out here for him. He might be considering it right now. As it is Empire's only play, right? Split pushing. Team fighting right now, it seems like it's just not an option.
It really doesn't, but at the same time, if you get someone like Silent caught out, you're going to have to expend buyback to defend.
And you might be a prophet right here.
He's a long way up.
He doesn't even have a TP. He's in a horrible position here.
Yep. He's going to have to doppelganger away. They pick him up, throw him down.
Have to die.
hook shot, and the cooldown will come in, but he is just trapped inside the cogs. And that's the situation I was talking about, where you just have that moment.
They might be able to force buyback here if they go for it. They still have the Aegis on Gyro.
Yep.
It's 50 seconds.
Actually, it's not even that.
At the same time, they might be okay, well, we could try to go for the high ground push here and force the buyback, but risk-reward, right? The Aegis just expired now.
Yep.
If they try to push in and there is a buyback and they get RP'd at the same time, they can lose control of the game in one fell swoop, and instead they can just, you know, control the map until the next Rosh if they want. Because they're not getting out farm.
Yep,
They play like this.
Just back it up. There is currently a quad stack of Ancients, and with this farm, Sylar will be able to afford up his full butterfly. So it's so difficult to try and even like stop this all. In fact, Ember Spirit. Okay. Okay, well, there goes the whole Sylar you can buy a butterfly into. Maybe you can now finish your full your Daedalus.
Yeah. Interesting to see, by the way. I was expecting Xiaowei to go for the Guardian Greaves. Is what we usually see bounties do when they get both the Arcane Boots and Mech, at least in a lot of cases. But this time he goes back for Medallion of Courage. Probably looking to get the high ground sieging item in the Solar Crest, so they can just put that on the Gyro. And when he has Butterfly as well as Crest, and there's no MKB on the Radiant side, there's pretty much no way they kill the Gyro twice. They have to Laguna him for the first death, and then how do they kill him again? They're just preparing. You see, it's very methodical from LGD. They're itemizing and preparing for what's going to happen in a few minutes, rather than what they need right now. Because right now, there's nothing they really need. So Xiaowei, you can tell he's just mapping out the game plan for how they're going to end the game. They're already thinking about the ultimate goal.
The ultimate goal is that semi-final position. Guaranteed over $1 million if they can take this game. And there goes your tier 2 tower. That's the last out of tower of Team Empire. But they still have a home for now. Until LGD try and come in and Aloha dance. There's the observers and sentries there now. They just see a courier up there. There's no way they're going to commit for that. But they can see the rest of them. Oh, okay, maybe they do. Snowball down. Eat my words. Aloha dance takes it and snowballs down to the trolls. Goodbye, courier.
Nice snipe. And also distracts LGD a little bit. They almost lost their tier 2 top to Salin. He is doing a really good job with... When you're this far behind and you're starved on vision, it's very difficult to play a split push game with confidence because you're always scared that you're going to get caught out by something. But Silent is really squeezing whatever farm he can out of the map in the given situation. He's actually leading on CS, which I find to be pretty impressive against this Gyro and Ember who are dominating the game.
They're chasing after Always Wanna Fly. These two Observer wards for the Dire side are on the opposite sides of that Observer. The Radiant, and there's your hook shot from Yao. They split Zhao Wei and MMY, so he was capable of coming in for that hook shot, cancelling the TP out, and then they'll instantly de-ward the vision if they can reach it.
It's actually a pretty good spell steal too. Shadow Wave is not bad. If they're looking to go for an aggressive play and a little bit of push, it's a good some good sustain to try to counter out the Dragon Slave's damage to the creep wave. Between that and mech, they might be able to look at high ground. I don't think they're going to do it though. Like, just control the map again, Rosh, Solar Crest, and then they're looking to end. That's when Empire have to pull out an incredible fight to just keep themselves in the game.
The creep wave should never reach high ground though. Like with Shard, Slave, Lancers, Shockwave, all these things, they can easily evaporate the creep wave before it even reaches the stairs.
At some point, the creep wave's going to have a siege creep.
Yeah.
And then that one's going to reach.
It's the only way to do it though.
Alternatively, LGD could get a pipe and just pre-pipe the wave so that they can get in. It's something we've seen teams do a lot in the past when they're struggling against Tinker, Keeper of the Light. This is a similar situation. Ice Shards, Shockwave, and Dragon Slave deal a combined, what's that, like 800 damage to the creep wave or something? So 850. So with a pipe, they would be able to keep the wave alive and even maybe mech it up and get in. But
that courier from Team Empire, luckily not affected by bombardment, at least not heavily, is bringing the Reaver in for silence. So we're getting a heart build now up on the PL.
Yeah, it might be the best build. I was thinking Scotty, but his illusions need to be tanky this game. That's just the way it is. And like, if you look at the math of how much health it gives, I don't know the exact ratio because obviously Scotty gives some good armor as well. But it should definitely be, like, for just raw HP for the Illus, it should be better. But a little weaker as far as aggression goes.
Yeah, but he's still got the Magnus to help him with that. Like, that level 3 Empower right now you're still going to find that extra bit of damage you're searching for.
That's only for the main one, though.
Yep.
And Empire cannot contest this.
No. This is a very, very simple Roshan for LGD, and if Team Empire move over for it, like, you can weave scout it, but that's going to be all. They know almost like the only way Team Empire is going to really win a fight is from inside their base, and probably with a couple of buybacks against LGD. But the only one who's got that right now is the Magnus. Tusker will have it in a moment. But Lowar Densley has initiation. Like having the Blink Dagger over on him, the Blink Yules from Resolution, they have pick-off options. The issue is vision. They just can't keep it up against LGD.
Yao was really thinking about that hook.
Now Yao's not. He turns on the battery assault to try and get rid of him. Actually does see Sam misses the hook shot again. An inch too high on the PL. So Sam will back up.
For what it's worth, that hookshot would probably not have done anything. He would have just doppelgangered out. No one was even remotely close to follow up on it, so.
And LGD, again, we're in this position. Ember Spirit is backing up because you had Yoku as well as Resolution force the laner. The tier 2 tower would die to this creep wave if someone doesn't come and deal with it. And that's why the Ember is up here. Good money as well. And where does Ember go from here too? Like, you're going up against a PL. Is this one of these games where you look for the second Battle Fury over getting something like another Daedalus or MKB, if that's a choice up against the PL? Preparing yourself for that butterfly later on?
Now you're giving me another one of those math questions. When it's against PL,
I'm sorry, Sid.
2 Battle Furies against 2 Daedalus, I think Lincoln's is a better choice here. He's getting a Lincoln, so. He wants to address the Lina problem, is what I'm reading into this. Like, it doesn't counter the Magnus at all. It's okay against Tusk, I guess, but it's more just to try to dodge the Laguna or the Yule setup.
It'll be nice if you could do that. But at the same time,
he just wants to put it on Sylar. Like, they just make Sylar an absolute monster with Lincolns, Solar Crest, Butterfly, BKB. I don't know how they're going to kill that hero.
It's difficult because, as you were saying earlier on, like Resolution just chooses his target based on what's going to be the better one to go for. If it's maybe or if it's going to be Sylar. He just makes a choice, which means then your Lincoln Sphere timing has to be perfect, understanding what choice he's going to make. The Rocket's getting picked off. There's attempted tracks coming out here from Xiao Wei to keep vision up there. He does have one over on Aloha Dance who can't dispel it. So they're having just to wait in the safety of their base. Also notice too, the Silent spent the money to buy the hard recipe, but he doesn't actually have enough money for buyback right now. He's short by 900.
Right?
It's in his stash. Like,
I thought he had the Vit booster on the courier.
Clockwork, long hook shot in. Resolution dropping down low as well. He yields him to avoid the last bit of damage, and now he has to run away. Yao's right behind the Shallow Grave to keep him alive. And that's good for Team Empire. They've still got RP available. They're losing a lot of life on their players, but they're not losing players.
I don't know if that's good for Empire. They lost 2/3 of a tower and did nothing. And LGD, all they expended was a hook shot. They can wait 30 seconds and do it again.
True.
But it's true, I mean, considering what could have happened, it's good.
Yeah.
But they're not making progress themselves.
Gotta always look on the bright side of life for both teams. LGD, they really want to try and claim this Rax, but Team Empire, they know just how effective this spam is at keeping their creep waves out. This next wave doesn't have a catapult, so it shouldn't be able to reach the high ground. Meanwhile, middle lane, that momentum is starting to build up again. Like the tier 2 towers will take a little bit of chip damage while LGD just keep pushing for Rax, making the most out of this Aegis time. Sylar comes up. Again, they go for Sylar. The hook shot from Yao off target. He pumped into the back of Maybe. And now it's Sylar, who's pretty low here. Resolution could just kill him off and blow the Aegis to the Immortal. The tier 3 tower, however, is down to 150 life. Maybe's going to put it all the way down, taking up the tier 3.
I'm a little bit surprised Maybe didn't link in Sylar there. I think he had time for it, but, you know, Maybe has played like almost the perfect series. His Storm Spirit was incredible. His Ember this game has been near perfect as well, so you know. I mean, at some point you're going to make one mistake, right?
The heart stun. The Dire can see it happening though, as flying underneath the Observer Ward. And yep, there goes... Wait, that Courier is going a little bit too close there to Xiao Wei.
Oh.
He doesn't have a Blink Dagger though, so we can't catch up to it. And we get a full Satanic for the Gyro. He looks so difficult to kill. tracks over on Resolution,
Oh, he
but
can't
then
afford to
Silent.
die. He just bought everything he has.
He's got to jump away. Doppelganger up. The Yulsetter over on the bounty hunter. Can't control. Hook shot down from Yao. Pushing him back, but the skewer dragging him closer. The Lancers still going to chase after Yao. They're back in base. Silent Fist searing chains. Magnus is low to call down. It's going to find the kill. Magnus down for the count, but buyback is available. LGD, they look to the bottom lane. Empire trying to drastically heal up as quick as they can go. Silent's got the heart to help him out. He's just got a land spam, keeping Yao low, but they jump in. There's your steering chain again. MMY, not a healthy man with those illusions following. It's Lina. You'll scepter up. Sylar actually going to shallow grave over on Resolution so he can jump in. Lacuna Blades on Sylar. Resolution! 2 life! He gets back to base, but no, he doesn't. He burns to the attack of the gyrocopter of all people.
Oh, look at the Ember just keeping them at bay like that. Just 1 crit sends 2 heroes back to the fountain. They're going to buy back the Lina, and again, no cost for LGD. Okay, they lost their Aegis, but it was, you know, it was going to expire at this point anyway. Just keep building up their lead. They get a couple of track kills.
And they got double buybacks. They got it out from both Resolution as well as out from Yoku. This is
25,000 lead right now.
It's not too shabby. It's not too shabby at all.
There's the crest for Bounty Hunter, finally completed.
And a blink dagger for maybe. So the jump initiation to get that searing chain off and then go into Sleight of Fist.
I think he's using, so there's 2 cool things about the Blink Dagger. One of them is definitely that you can do that. The other is that you can Remnant in, Sleight of Fist, and then Blink out. It's both a good, it's like a hybrid.
They found Silent. This is going to be big. He's going to doppelganger down. Yao's waiting for it. The call down. They forced up Silent forward. There's too many illusions blocking the hook shot, but he finds Yoku. He's still got Skewer available though, and that's why Yoku can get back up on high ground into the safety of his base.
These 4-staff plays are so important. If PL is out of position and dies once, the game is just over. 100% over. Like this, they still have a little bit of a chance. It's very little, but they do.
And Silent just keeping the Lancers going. He needs these PL illusions to start replicating out. He needs more of himself to fight the LGD invasion. Especially when you got buybacks on cooldown. This is not when Empire want to have an engagement. But LGD, they want to force one. They smoke up. They still have the negative weave, but it's going to time out now. So it's a 5-man smoke move to wrap all the way around. And Aloha Dance is the man to die. Quite fast as well.
He doesn't buyback though. I think this is actually the best thing that could have happened for Empire, apart from not losing any heroes, was for him to go out there, scout the smoke, and just be a casualty. Anyone else would have been way worse. Magnus wouldn't have had buyback, Dazzle wouldn't, PL wouldn't, and I think Lina also, no. Anyone else dying there is way, way worse for them.
Well, it looks like they didn't even have to buy back on him. 20 seconds in LGD. The creep wave's going to arrive in a moment, but this one doesn't have catapult. So getting in is difficult. Silent just going to doppelganger himself away. As Yao actually dropping low on mana. He's actually at a point right now where he has to use 1 charges to ensure he's got a combo. And again, they're getting weaved up. So LGD want to initiate, but they're at negative 10, 11, 12 armor.
It's running out now though.
Yeah. But it's whenever they're looking to come in, they just can't do it. But Roshan's going to spawn up in a very quick period of time. It's actually an instant respawn, practically.
Yeah, they're getting it again.
Yep.
I guess they're going to scout it with a rocket, or maybe MMY is just going to walk in there. Yeah, he's going to rush us up, guys. Let's go.
Yep. Take it quickly.
And once again, Empire can't really contest. Actually, LGD are going to wait a little bit here. I don't know if they're... Oh, it's because maybe it's top lane. They're playing it very safe. Just wait for him to come back down in case a fight does break out. Meanwhile, just farm up here with Sylar on the Ancients.
At the same time, though, now what does Empire do? Like, you realize that Roshan's probably going to be done, but you notice that Ember was also on the top lane. So is this that moment where you think, you know what? We can actually go over and give this a shot. LGD should be all together, not expecting us to try and go against this, but then again, LGD, they smoke up and move over. They're very close, and Empire, they smoke, but instantly Yao's going to break it. The Lance in, but Yao going all the way after Aloha Dance, and maybe with a snowball, Yao's getting beaten down by Resolution. Down for the count, but maybe chasing after Resolution, but Resolution's already thrown out everything he really needs to do, while PL, well actually, where is his attack? He cannot do it. Maybe chasing right behind him. Silent's got a lot of life behind him, including 17-1 charges. He's taken all the mana off Zhao Wei, and it's a 2-for-1 situation. Trade-off, that is. And LGD, I was honestly expecting that to be a lot better for them when they had that huge advantage when they broke the smoke of Empire.
Yeah, the way the hookshot came in and the target he found the Tusk, and he was pretty far away from his team, so Tusk is able to do the counter initiate. Lina blows him up with the full combo, and then LGD just decided they're in a pretty, like, they're in an awkward position where, once again, it maybe doesn't make sense to risk it. I think they might have been able to win that fight, but
Empire's coming.
they're respecting the PL.
The smoke's not going to break, so they're not blinking in for it. There's a 3-man smoke to try and counter this, and they look inside, Silent, waiting it out. Xiao Wei's in the neighborhood. Detection-wise, they do have the gem over on Resolution, so they'll see Xiao Wei.
Oh,
the Yule Scepter to start with, and now, where's the follow-up? Can it be quick? And here it is. Bounty Hunter will drop, they'll D-ward out. Ember Spirit jumping forward and back. And they're getting bashed by Roshan. But at least he's inside the pit. But is this the time from LGD where you think you can do this? You're going to start losing vision. And Team Empire, for first time in what seems to be forever, have all 5 players outside their base.
Yeah, they're gonna get a little bit of time from Xiao Wei being dead. I think LGD are gonna just wait until they have even numbers. Empire seem to feel pretty confident that they're not gonna try for the Roche. They're wrong.
Yeah, LGD go back in for it. But then you also ask yourself the question, okay, you thought about forcing it out. Now that LGD are all back up again practically, is this that time where you just let it go? So you accept the fact you can't take it, get back into farm, push Silent towards... I still actually don't know what Silent's going to be going here. Like, he could sell up anything, but it looks like he's going to finish the Mantis. Actually, no, that's a Demon Edge for Silent. He's going to keep it with the casual Yasha.
MKB against the Gyro.
By the looks of it, yeah.
Realistically, it's the only way they kill him now. Like, we saw in the last fight, they kill him once with Laguna. But again, what are you going to do in the second life when they just pressed him and he is buttered?
But Silent can push this top lane so quickly. Ember has to come back. That tower is at 66 life on the top lane. That's one hit from the PL to finish the job. And LGD, yeah, they're not going to do anything to stop that. It takes 2 hits because of the quick backdoor regen. And there's BT's now up for the Ember. But this is actually a significant push from Empire coming on top. And LGD, they don't have the lanes of their own pushed over the river.
Gyro doesn't have a TP right now, so he has to run all the way up there.
It's a long way to go. Xiao Wei, at least however, has managed to find Silent. Go track him, but then Doppelganger away, instantly breaking that track. But he's trying to stay on the tail here of Team Empire. And I think this is almost the time for Team Empire just to get the hell out of here. Yep, TP1, TP2, TP3, and the 4th one, Yoku, is still hanging inside the tree line. He has no vision at all. And what do we actually got coming out? Looks like Yao's Aghanim Scepter. So the Clockwork now finally has like infinite hooks.
Is this some sort of setup for a fight that's going to happen in 1.5 minutes, or why is he staying up there? Because
he's just enjoying the scenery.
I mean, he could blink down and try to cut the wave a little bit and help with pushing out that way.
Until he gets vision on LGD, however, he doesn't really want to be doing that.
All right, he's done.
Okay, just come back.
That was weird.
So what are we looking at for buybacks-wise? So we've got PL as well as the Dazzle are still short of money. LGD only have the Ember and the Rubik who have buyback currently. The other 3 are also short of money. No one has it on cooldown at least. And this PL actually now is, yeah, a long way short of money. He buys the full Monkey King bar, but what a time to have it just as the push is about to come.
Yeah.
But they're still going to deal with the Aegis the Immortal. This is another 3 minutes worth of Aegis time for LGD.
It's the right call from Silent, though. I think they have to all in and rely on getting a good fight. The buyback on PL is not going to make that much of a difference because he's more than likely not going to be the first hero to die. And if he comes back out alone, he can't fight anyway. So has to maximize his impact on the first life. And he is going to hit pretty hard now. He has Empower.
Oh, shot.
400
Long way in. Paul stops away straight away, though. Was forcing a reaction out from Team Empire. The side of Fitz with a blink forward. Man, they drop so quickly. They're turning so hard. Silent, however, man moaning up against Silent, the BKB. He has to doppelganger away from this one. He'll leave a couple of himself with another hook shot in from Yao. Silent forced off back from the cogs. He will go down. No buyback available right now for Silent. And this could be it for LGD. They got Empire licking their wounds in base. They will take the bottom racks, but it's 70 seconds without a Phantom Lancer. They are
that Sleight of Fist flat cannon combo almost killed 3 heroes.
Here they go again. Resolution controlled, hook shot after it, Yao going to work. Yoki, he actually can't get himself out this one. He's locked here forever and even critting down at the back lines of the Dazzle. The only one up is buyback is Lina, and that's it, GG. LGD will advance themselves forward to the semi-finals, knocking Team Empire into the lower bracket. The first victors here of our first series of day one of TI5 at the main event. It looked like a slow march to victory for LGD. No mistakes, methodical.
The important thing about this game to keep in mind is how well they did the early game. Like that's what matters to me. The remaining 30 minutes was just, you know, disciplined, structured, which we expect out of LGD, out of any Xiao8-led team. They just are good at keeping their lead and playing very structured, but their early game was absolutely phenomenal this game. Like all the rotations from Xiao8 worked out, the way they put their lanes worked out. The Ember, who was supposed to lose because of those rotations, ended up winning his lane against Lina, and the game was just, you know.
It was the 2-0. It was the lanes that weren't meant to work, but they worked for LGD. They get to go 2-1 up against Team Empire. But now, let's get back to the panel and get their thoughts on the whole series.
Thank you very much to Toby1 and to Sinru for our opening game. We'll hear from them a little bit later on. Back with the gentlemen at the panel. Very interesting, tactical, strategical, all kinds of what I'm going to call patient play from LGD. The perfect kind of play. Alan's going to disagree with me.
No, I mean, there was all that. And there were a lot of great plays, and it was an interesting draft, and blah, 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 standard points. At the end of the day, maybe. Done.